Okay, good evening. This is actually take two because I've just had to take one of my cats out. It was meowing so loudly you couldn't hear what I was saying over the top of it. Don't know what spooked her. Maybe it's the moon or something, or the fact that I just put a new fan heater in my room because it's absolutely freezing. It's icy cold at the moment. Anyway, hopefully I'll be able to concentrate a little bit better now. So it's Wednesday the 30th of December today, or tonight, and thankfully we've just been told we're still in tier 4. Now there were rumours that we were going to be put in tier 5 lockdown in our part of the country this week, but thankfully they've moved more people in the country into tier 4, but it's currently still the highest tier, so I believe. And if you'd have told me this time last year that I would be, cheering at the prospect of being in some form of lockdown less than another form of lockdown, then I would have thought you were absolutely mad. But this is the world we inhabit at the moment. So let's thank heaven for small mercies at the moment, and see what happens over the next few days. Anyway, so it's Wednesday the 30th of December, and I've been doing this little series of videos. This is the third one I've done in the lead up to New Year, and possibly for the first few days of the New Year. I'm just kind of going with the flow and seeing what feels the right thing to do, and they are related to sort of planning for the year ahead and also reflecting on the year that's just been. And there's a little planner that you can download free. It's a 17-page booklet. It's got an article at the front and a bit of an introduction to it, and then you go into the workbook that you can print off and write on by hand. I prefer to do handwriting for many reasons, but you can get a bit of a better connection with what you're thinking and processing as you're actually physically writing at the connection of hand to brain. So that's my preferred way of doing things. So unfortunately you can't actually type into this one, but you could always type out the questions if you like, and into a Word document and then type them out, but that's not my preference, so I purposefully didn't make this an editable PDF. So that's free to download. I'm not going to go into a full recap of the last two videos, but the first one was all about the importance of rest and rejuvenation at this time of year. And the second one was the first part talking about reflection, why it's important to reflect on the previous year before you start making your plans for the next year. So you can watch that one, and you'll find that on my grid. So tonight I'm also going to talk about reflection before we move in perhaps tomorrow into more of the planning stuff, because it's wonderful New Year's Eve, and I'm sure that that you've got wonderful things planned for tomorrow, like perhaps going on a trip to the conservatory from the living room or something like that, if you're feeling adventurous. But I'm going to stick with reflection a little bit, because I'm going to basically answer the question, what is reflection and what is it not? Okay. And I think that's really important for this year, because if we are sort of sitting at the end of the year feeling rather fed up, and we start reflecting on the year that's just been, we might sort of start to feel quite miserable, all depending what's happened. I mean, I do know of some people who have had fairly productive years, and they've perhaps got their online business going and that sort of thing, but I would say that there's probably more people who are struggling in some way, at least if not sort of with their work or their business, at least you know, certainly with the uncertainty, I guess, and the unpredictability, and not really knowing what's going on and why it's going on and everything else. So I think that's why I'm going to sort of cover reflection again a little bit, because you know, one of the things, and we'll start with what it's not, you know, we could be sitting here and think, okay, I'm going to start reflecting on 2020, and then we find ourselves kind of going down this slippery slope into, oh no, this awful thing happened, I lost my business, I lost all my money, I did this, you know, someone I knew got sick, blah 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 blah, and then, you know, it's reflection kind of has to be done in a slightly more constructive way if it's going to be useful to us. It's not at all to beat yourself over the head with. It's meant to be a helpful tool, and that's what we've got to keep in mind whilst we're doing it. So firstly then, it's not kind of dramatising what's happened in the year, and you can use this, you know, with any event that happens in life, or, you know, situations that we get ourselves into, in actual fact, some of this. So we're not going to go into the drama of what happened. It's not about relaying all the hideous things that happened, everything that we felt that was awful. It's not about that. So we're not dramatising. Also, as I said, it's not about beating ourselves up about how rubbish we've been or that we failed or whatever else. It's not about that. Also, it's not about wallowing in self-pity, okay? And, you know, I'm not one of these kind of people that says, oh, everything has to be all love and light and shiny and fluffy. I'm not one of those people, but at the same time, neither am I going to suggest that we sit around feeling sorry for ourselves, because it's not helpful and it's not productive. And when we're sort of healthy people, it's not good for us to stay in that you know, feeling of self-pity for very long. You know, we do it sometimes, that's great. We have to be able to vent. We can't just pretend it's not happened, but we don't want to stay stuck in it. So we want to kind of move forward into, you know, kind of what it is. So it is about being honest and doing an honest appraisal of what's happened. It is about knowing and understanding and identifying what we could have done differently or better, or what we will do differently or better in the forthcoming year. It is also about encouraging and inspiring ourselves to step up. So if it wasn't a great year, if we'd found ourselves a bit drained, it's about saying, okay, come on, you know, I'm going to reflect now, and then I'm going to create this vision, you know, in the next bit and pull myself forward. So we're going to sort of gee ourselves up to step up. How am I going to step up for the next year? But also it's kind of so it's about unburdening ourselves so that we feel clear to move forward. It's about closure. Primarily, it's about closure on the year that's been, so that we can feel free of the burden of the year and able to move forwards. And I know that some of us will not be free of all of the burdens, because we might be in financial difficulty, or we might not really, you know, be feeling that great or whatever, but we've still got to, you know, clear some of that away so that we can do what I suggested, and you know, encourage ourselves and start to inspire ourselves into action. And we also, when we're doing that kind of honest appraisal, we have to take responsibility. And like I said yesterday, it's not about blaming ourselves or whatever, or even where things that happen that we didn't choose, okay, because that's happened to a lot of us. But we do have to take responsibility, and we do have to work on that mindset. And if you join us in the group on Mighty Networks, you can get to it from the link below after you've downloaded your PDF. We will talk about that and expand on those things much further in the group, and it will be lovely to see you.